ready? Driving around our brush-filled pasture, honking, calling cows on a hot January day turned out to be pretty eventful when two cows came in with two calves by their side. We knew that they were due and that they would be born pretty soon, but it's always good seeing your calves in the pasture and seeing how well that they're doing. One mom had a calf that was nursing her that was an average-looking calf. She was pretty good looking, but nothing too special. The other mom had a calf on her that was amazing. She was a great set calf with a bone structure and characteristics that will make you a lot of money. This calf had definitely gotten the superior genes. With embryo transplant, we can now make all our calves receive the superior genes and look pretty close to identical. Therefore, it will lead us to make a lot of money when we sell these calves. So I have a picture. These are the two moms, and there's a calf hiding behind there, and there's a calf right there. So this is obviously the superior genetic calf, and this is the average looking calf. There's two pictures here. This calf has a better bone structure, you can see, thicker loin area, higher tail set, just a better looking calf that's going to make us more money. And so with embryo transplant, we can now make all of our calves come out like this one. I'll tell you how we can do that. With embryo transplants, it's an advanced reproductive technology and progressive tool that can help you produce more offspring from an elite cow and can extend the impact of outstanding genetics. So today I'm going to talk about embryo transplants, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background information as well as the pros of this procedure and the cons of this procedure. So here is some background information. This is just a quick overview of how the embryo transfer process works. The idea of this transfer is to transfer the superior cow's embryo into a recipient cow, or like an average cow, and they can produce prime genetic bloodlines. So you can take the embryo of your best looking cow, and you can transfer it over to your not so great looking cow who is a good mom, but she doesn't carry the great genetics. And then you'll have the majority of the same bloodline in your herd. And this will make you a lot of money because you can have all of your recipient cows or your average looking cows making good genetic calves. So you might be wondering how this procedure works. There's two components. Generating the embryo, which includes artificially inseminating the donor cow and waiting 7 days after insemination for the embryo to be collected and then flushed from the uterus. And then obtaining or flushing the embryos from the donor cow can either be froze or then transferred to the recipient cow. Now we will look at the pros of this procedure. Naturally, the genetically superior cow can produce approximately 10 calves in its lifespan. That's it, about 10. But through embryo transfer, there is a huge increase in the number of offspring that a genetically superior cow can produce through surrogates. And there's a relatively faster genetic improvement. So like I was saying, your bloodline is going to raise its genetic quality pretty quick. So for example, when using natural breeding, it could take up to 20 years to get your bloodline and your herd all genetically where you desire it to be. But with the use of embryo transplant, this reduces the time to 4 to 5 years. So you're not naturally breeding, but you're reducing the time from 20 years to 4 to 5 years of getting your desired genetic herd. There's financial benefits. This is another pro of this procedure. Once you have reached your desired genetic bloodline, the beef quality of your calves, your bulls will increase. So that obviously means increased incomes. So once you sell that cow or that calf with that good beef quality, you're going to get more money. Once you have established your enterprise with your cattle business, you can start to sell the embryos of your own cows. So you can freeze the embryos from your cows or your superior genetic cows, and you can sell those to other people who are looking to do embryo transplant. So lastly, let's discuss the cons of this procedure. So to perform this procedure, it requires trained technical personnel and a high level of management. And with that, it's high cost. That's another con of this, and it's hard to find trained personnel to do this. There's a high cost, and that could be attributed because of the necessary equipment that must be placed in the maintenance of the recipient animals, and just the tedious work that it takes to transfer the embryos. So the average cost for a frozen embryo transfer is about $3,000 to $5,000. But when you look at the cost of a bull or the cost of a cow, it doesn't really seem that expensive. So instead of buying a bull to put in your herd to breed, you're going to transfer these embryos, and that's going to be around the same cost and maybe a little cheaper. So the reduced genetic variability is another con because the relatively small gene pool source from a donor cow may have a negative impact in future, especially when you reference into rare breeds. So although having the same genetic bloodline in your herd is wanted, it also may be not good for the herd's evolution because without genetic variation, the herd can't evolve with environmental variables. So if you change the habitat of those cows, it's going to be hard to get the genetic variation for environmental variations. So the last negative aspect of the embryo transplant is that there's unfortunately a low success rate. The success rate of embryo transfer is reportedly lower than the use of artificially inseminated. And this is because of the numerous processes that have to be undertaken, tedious work. Everything has to go right for the embryos to be transferred, and you have to wait, you have to be patient, and it takes a lot of time. But a lot of people actually think it's worth it and causes their incomes over the years to increase. So in conclusion, embryo transfers have become much more popular and have gained much attention from cattle ranchers around the world. I hope you learned some reasons why this procedure has become popular today and gained a little bit of perspective of what goes on in the cattle industry.